Oh, right, okay.
See, no sneaky recording you anymore. It tells you and it shouts.
Yeah. And
you
I
have
had to click a button as well. Yeah.
Yeah, shocking. No fun. Good evening. Today I have the lovely Graeme with me, who is taking over the Tales on Trent group, although it's late in the day, but here we are. So would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Not really, no.
Yep. That's the deal.
Excuse me. I'm as Donna's just said there, I'm Graeme Cumming. I'm an author, I would say a thriller author, although these two books here probably more readily fall into a kind of horror category and a kind of fantasy, but I would say that yeah, they were written as thrillers, and certainly I've got a couple of other novels that I'm working on at the moment, or between at the moment. I'm doing different drafts, and they're probably more traditional crime thriller kind of things. But I suppose I'm not that fussed about sticking to a genre. I say I write thrillers because I want it to be potentially an exciting read, a tense read, just if we can get you on the edge of your seat every now and then, that would be nice. So there's it's an entertainment. I've yeah, I remember, I might have even said this to you before, Donna, I can't remember for sure. Years ago, I came across a series of books by an author called John Gardner, sadly no longer with us. The series of books was about a character called Boise Oakes, who was a sort of a spoof James Bond. These were written in the 60s. But on the book covers, they all had this kind of tagline. It would be the title, one would say The Liquidator, and it would say A Boise Oakes Entertainment. And I thought, that is brilliant, because there are books out there that are not designed to entertain, they are designed to inform or whatever, but all I ever want to do really is just give people a good time. If that makes sense.
That could be misinterpreted by the weirdos in Tales on Tuesday.
And I can probably name some of those weirdos, so that's fine. Yeah.
I'm going to be in so much trouble for that.
No, seriously, yeah, it's just what I write is intended to entertain. Yeah, that's probably more than you wanted from me, but that'll I hope that will do as an introduction.
The more you say, the less I have to ask, so it's great. You carry on. Makes my life much easier.
Because you might have other questions that I would be preempting by saying more now.
Well, that means I have to think, which is always bad, but okay. It's fine. You carry on. I can adjust. Did you always know that you wanted to be a writer?
Probably not always, but certainly for a long time. I think certainly since at some point in my childhood, whether it was sort of early teens or even possibly a little bit earlier than that, I don't know. I was, as a child, I was plonked in front of the TV a lot. Our old black and white TV was my babysitter. My mum looks back on it now and she's horrified that that's what she used to do, but it was the only way to keep me quiet. But I was brought up in the 60s and 70s and a diet of a wide range of different kinds of TV shows. But I did actually also read, and I was an avid reader. And then my grandmother introduced me to the wonders of the cinema. Up until she actually took me, I kept hearing my parents talking about going to the pictures, and I just had this vision of like some kind of art or photographic gallery. And then my grandma took me to see, I think it was The Wizard of Oz, and this whole new world was opened up to me. And what the reason I tell you all this is because I think a lot of that has informed me in terms of what I like to write. Because there's such a wide variety of things that I watched and read, and I would read adventure stories, and I would read spy thrillers, and I would read detective stories and fantasy. Not a lot of fantasy, but I did read fantasy, a bit of sci-fi as well, but certainly watched a lot of a wide variety of movies and TV shows. And I suppose when I reflect on it, it made me realize that I'm not, like most people, I think, I'm not sort of committed to a particular kind of entertainment. You know, I can quite happily watch a Western and then go and watch something that's sci-fi, or, you know, so why would I want to write just in one particular genre? And so I just write what I think will entertain me and hopefully some other people along the way. So that's really gone off track, but it's only relevant because you asked, do I always know I was a writer? No, but I've always felt as though I had this draw towards those spheres of entertainment, and I have found I was always very good at English. I did write stories. I actually had an English teacher who did say that she would, you know, she expected me to become an author because she could see that there was the potential there. So yeah, I think there was a lot there from a fairly early age, but I wouldn't say, in all honesty, forever.
So why did you do it? What made you take the plunge and actually sit down and start writing a book?
I have always written, but it's been very sporadic and hit and miss. You know, I mean, I wrote a story that I wrote as an English essay, got published in the school magazine, and then I went on to write 2 or 3 sequels to that. And you know, I just had this thing of you know, ideas would come and I want to write them. So some of them are rubbish. In fact, quite a lot of them were rubbish. But that, you know, there was stuff that I wrote while I was still at school. There was some, let's just say, adolescently vulgar Bond parodies that were written, and sadly, or well, at the time, more than sadly, horrifyingly, I was confiscated by a teacher. And it was a couple of years later, I found out that this particular story had gone all around the staff room, and they'd loved it. I was mortified when, anyway. So, you know, I've always written in one form or another, but then I think taking it seriously really, well, there's no probably about it. I think I was in my early 40s, which seems a long time ago now, but I realized that I hadn't written anything for a few years. Life had got in the way, kids, I had my own business at that point, and that was taking a lot of time, and paying the mortgage and all that kind of thing. So I just, but I realized that I hadn't written anything for a while, and I realized that I was avoiding it because I wasn't having the time, and I thought, I'm missing out. I really enjoy writing, so I enjoy the process of creating the stories. I enjoy the process of creating the characters. I enjoy writing dialogue. I like plotting because I like to have some twists along the way, and it's nice. I know there are authors out there who do it by the seat of the pants and they still manage to create these fantastic twists and that, but I need to plan it. So anyway, I like all those aspects of it, and even these days I'm beginning to enjoy editing them as well. No, I decided I needed to just get on and write something. And even if it meant that I only wrote one day and then I couldn't write again for a month, so be it. That's fine. That was the mindset I had to shift and work with. And so I got started, and I think it took me 7 years to complete the first draft of what ultimately became Carrion. And then, having been writing that for 7 years, I gave it a break, put it to one side, and I realized at that point that I'd learned quite a lot in the process of completing that one, and I started writing Raven's Gathering, and that actually took me 8 months to write the first draft. So it worked a lot better, and I've got to say, Carrion, the subsequent drafts still took a lot longer, but that was because it was in no way the right kind of shape. After trying to write a draft over 7 years, it needed a lot of work doing to it. So that's why Raven's Gathering came out first. That came out, oh God, about 8 years ago, I think now. And Carrion only came out last year. I'm hoping the next one will be a bit quicker, but it still won't be this year. But so again, a long answer to a short question, but hopefully that answers it.
It does. It's great. I could just sit here and chill. Just love it.
Okay.
Will Tales on Trent be your first sign-in event?
Specifically signing event, yes. Yeah. I did an event beginning of last year. It was just before we had the first lockdown, probably about 3 or 4 weeks before that. There was it was actually called what did they call it? It was a read dating event, and I'd been to one the previous year at the Deepings Literary Festival, which was partly organised by Linda Hill, who I mentioned to you before we came on air. And sometime after that, the organisers wanted to do a specific event, a read dating event, sort of between festivals. And I can't remember whether, I think I contacted Linda and said, if you've got a vacancy, I'd love to do it. But basically it's like speed dating, but with authors. And don't get me wrong, it's when I say it's not like dating at all. It's just, you basically have, I think it's 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes, can't remember, with a specific author. You sit at the table with them, have a chat with them, then somebody rings a bell or blows a whistle or whatever in between, and then you get up and you move around and you go to see another author. And so it was that. So I did that. So that's why I hesitate over the signing, because I did do some signing then, but it wasn't specifically for that. It was an opportunity to get to meet potential readers and have a chat with them, and hopefully then maybe buy the odd book here and there. But no, this will be my first specific book signing event. Yeah.
Love the sounds of that. Sort of speed dating with authors. That sounds like so much fun.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it. And it introduced me to some authors that I hadn't come across before, and also some quite interesting books. One which I'd actually, if I hadn't met the author, I'd have looked at the cover and read the blurb and actually thought, there's no way I want to read that. And to be fair, when I did read it, it wasn't exactly the book I thought it was going to be, but it was still fascinating, and I just absolutely loved it. So I think these kinds of events can be really useful for broadening your reading horizons, and just discovering new authors.
And is there anyone you're particularly looking forward to meeting? And is there anyone that you'll be catching up with, or have you not met anyone yet?
I will be catching up with Zoe Leo Farrell. I've met Zoe a few times. We've had one or two drinks together, it has to be said. Yes, and her aside, I don't think I've actually met any. I can't think of anybody else on the list that I've actually met. But there are some names there, and my mind, of course, because you've asked the question, has gone blank. But there are some names there. I thought, oh yes, I'd like to meet those. I'd like to, have a chat with them and perhaps get to know them better. And yeah, it's nice to share. It's nice to meet readers, but it's nice to talk and chat with other authors and share experiences and share ideas. Not necessarily ideas about what we're writing, but about ideas about, how are you marketing, and how are you getting readers interested in reading your stuff, is it just me, or does everybody talk to the walls when they're stuck in front of a laptop trying to work out what they're going to write next?
Yeah, I imagine that's probably no. I think you authors are weird. That's all I was going to say. In a nice way.
I can't, in all honesty, argue with that.
Well, I don't think I have any more questions for you.
Okay.
Just to say that we're very much looking forward to having you at Tales on Trent, and we're all looking forward to meeting you.
Thank you very much, and I'm really looking forward to being there. It's going to be great to, although I have started to get out and mix with people, as I know you have. It's been a big part of life that's been sadly missing the last 18 months, and I feel there's a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to catching up with people who I haven't seen for a while. I mean, it'd be nice to see Claire. I haven't seen Claire for 2 years, I don't think. And it would be nice to, I'm sure there'll be other people there aside from authors that book bloggers or whatever, that I haven't seen for a while, because I do know quite a lot of book bloggers. So it'd be nice to just get together, have a chat. And I believe there's an evening event, so that might mean there's some drinking to be done, But
I've heard rumour of this also. Apparently Claire isn't allowed to have gin, so obviously we're all just going to try and give her gin. I've heard that Dancing on Tables has been involved when she drinks gin, so obviously right. I wouldn't want to test this theory at all.
No. Yeah, we just need to make sure that the tables aren't collapsible, so make sure that they are going to stay up there, that they're going to stay upright. Yeah.
I imagine there's going to be plenty of photos that can't be shared officially.
Right, okay. That's something we need to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I'm going to be sober and perfectly well behaved the whole time.
Join the club.
Yeah. Neither of us can keep a straight face. We're such liars.
Sorry, it's obviously having an effect on my cough.
Yeah, of course, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So before this descends into complete chaos, would you
Okay.
just like to remind everyone where they can find out more about you before the event?
Okay, well, if you get on the Tales on Trent Facebook page today, then you will see that I am putting 1 or 2 posts on, and there will be some links on there. However, if you don't, then the best way to connect with me is actually my website, which is www, you know what I mean, graemecumming.co.uk. So that's fairly easy, I think, to remember. Alternatively, you can look for me on Facebook anyway, or you can look for me on Twitter. Twitter will be GA Cumming 63 is my Twitter handle, which probably gives you an idea of my age. So yeah, those are going to be probably the easiest ways to get in touch with me. By all means, come along and have a look at the website and see what there is to tell you on there. If you need to connect with me, do that through the website. Yeah, that's probably it, I think. But as I have said on Tales on Trent's Facebook page today, even though I'm telling you about my social media, how to get hold of me, I'm not that great on social media, and that is why I am so looking forward to the Tales on Trent event. And I'm looking forward to other opportunities to get out and meet people. And if they aren't presented to me, I'm going to have to make some myself. So
Well,
that's something for you to all look forward to.
We are very excited to meeting you, or as in some cases, seeing you again, I suppose. But for some people, we've never met, so I can't wait.
Excellent. Okay. So, okay, and thank you for your time this evening, Donna.